Oneirocritica is the oldest surviving dream interpretation book in the world. It is the most definitive work on oneiromancy. This is an arcane method of divination, just like pyromancy and necromancy. But instead of fire or spirits, oneiromancy uses dreams to foretell the future. Oneirocritica was written by Artemidorus Daldianus almost 2000 years ago, and to this day it remains the most influential work on dreams ever written. In fact, some of the ideas within this book take central place in the theories of great dream scholars such as Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung. Now this is truly a work of impact. To properly explore the ideas within Oneirocritica, you need to be familiar with its author, because there is no Oneirocritica without Artemidorus. Ironically, there is no Artemidorus without Oneirocritica, since everything we know about him comes from the book. Moreover, a lot of his biography is implied by circumstantial evidence. The man is truly an enigma, a very alluring enigma, and that's what the first episode will explore, the mystery of Artemidorus. Historically, we know the man lived in the 2nd century AD. Artemidorus Daldianus was active during the Nerva and Antonine dynasties of the Roman Empire. It is a period of prosperity that begins with Emperor Trajan, the builder, and ends with the death of Emperor Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher. Unfortunately, we don't know when exactly the oneiromancer was born or died. Regardless, this was the most prosperous and enlightened period of the Roman Empire, and even more so for Artemidorus' hometown of Ephesus. At the time, the city was the capital of the Roman province of Asia, which constituted the western parts of Asia Minor. Ephesus was a Greek city with rich history and traditions. The temple of Artemis, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, was located there, and so was the library of Cassius, which was the 3rd biggest library in the Roman Empire. Ephesus was undoubtedly a great cultural and scholarly center, and it was most likely the place where Artemidorus received his initial education. And educated he was. Judging by the level of his sophistication, we can deduce that the man grew up in a family with at least moderate financial means. Back then, such a level of education could only be achieved with private tutors. Artemidorus casually displays exceptional knowledge of history, natural sciences, philosophy, and rhetorics. In addition, the man was well versed in drama and poetry. He also demonstrates some knowledge of several divination disciplines such as astrology and ornithomancy. The latter foretells the future through the study of birds' flight patterns. Last but not least, Artemidorus was an expert oneiromancer who had studied all the great masters before and during his time. You need to understand that in those days oneiromancy was viewed as an empirical science and a craft. In fact, oneiromancers learned the ropes by case studying real-life dreams and their manifestations. Actually, 2 of the 5 volumes in Oneirocritica deal with such instructive case studies. Therefore, the book is sort of a textbook for beginners and experts alike. After completing his initial studies into oneiromancy, Artemidorus swore an oath of allegiance to Apollo Daldianus, the local cult of the god. While Artemis was the patron god of Ephesus, her brother Apollo was the god of prophecy. Therefore, he was the natural choice for a patron of an oneiromancer. Keep in mind that the temples of Apollo were the biggest centers of divination at the time. It is unclear whether such an oath was required to practice his craft, or it was simply a tradition of the times. Nonetheless, Artemidorus solemnly accepted the god as both a paternal and personal patron. Afterwards, the oneiromancer devoted himself to achieving mastery of his craft. Artemidorus entered a period of his life where all that mattered were his oneiromantic studies and divinations. He went on a years-long journey across Greece, Italy, Asia Minor, and the Greek islands in the Aegean Sea. During his travels, Artemidorus studied rare and ancient manuscripts on oneiromancy, consulted diviners at local temples, and even consorted with market diviners. The latter were considered little more than grifters, charlatans, and beggars by the temple brethren, but Daldianus believed them to be a source of deep insights and authentic case studies. His knowledge and understanding of oneiromancy grew immensely, in no small part thanks to these decent people, as he called them. After many years of exhaustive studies and divinations, Artemidorus acquired the confidence of the most adept oneiromancer. In fact, his self-esteem is so evident in Oneirocritica that Carl Jung calls him conceited in one of his lectures on ancient dream interpretation. Still, Artemidorus is excessively proud only in terms of his professional achievements, and such self-confidence seems appropriate given how enduring his legacy is. It was probably during these travels when Artemidorus met Cassius, Maximus, Tyrius. This was a monumental event in the oneiromancer's life, and it inspired the creation of Oneirocritica. According to Daldianus, after meeting Maximus of Tyre, Apollo came to him in a dream and compelled him to write the book. Cassius had such a profound impact on Artemidorus that the first 2 volumes of the book are dedicated to him. In addition, the introductions and the conclusions in the first 3 volumes are addressed to Maximus. To us, Cassius is almost as mysterious a figure as Artemidorus. Maximus of Tyre was a philosopher and rhetorician of some renown. While his name suggests he was born in the Phoenician city of Tyre, Cassius most probably spent a significant part of his life in Greece. That's where he most likely met Artemidorus. Their relationship raises many questions. Artemidorus refers to him as a dear friend, and he engages in constant compliments towards him. The oneiromancer calls Cassius the greatest orator among the Greeks and a man of exceptional insight and wisdom. The compliments seem almost like flattery, and this raises questions about the nature of their relationship. Some believe Cassius Maximus was a patron of Artemidorus who provided access or funding for his protege. Others suspect they were more than friends and their relationship was actually romantic. However, these are all simply speculations and there is no actual proof of such claims. Nonetheless, Cassius Maximus and Apollo were the main reasons that drove Artemidorus to write the first 3 volumes of Oneirocritica. Daldianus claimed they were meant as a complete study of oneiromancy that explained the majority of possible interpretations. Still, this was not the case according to the 4th volume. You see, the 4th and 5th volumes contained arcane interpretations which were not meant for public viewing. Artemidorus wrote them as secret letters to his son, who was training as an oneiromancer at the time. With these volumes, Daldianus was symbolically passing the torch to his son and his son alone. Artemidorus demands from his son to keep the writing in secret because the knowledge inside will make him the greatest oneiromancer in the world. While the first 3 volumes were Artemidorus' legacy to humanity, the 4th and the 5th volumes were his inheritance to his own son. In fact, Artemidorus went on another journey across Greece and Italy to research his 5th book. It is evident that Daldianus was concerned about the future of his son, and he was going at great lengths to help him along in the oneiromantic profession. This is pretty much everything that we know about the great oneiromancer, and it is not a lot. For someone so commonly accused of vainglory, Artemidorus has revealed remarkably little about himself. In fact, his focus was primarily on his work, and in this regard he left us a cornucopia of knowledge on oneiromancy. In the next episode, I will explore Oneirocritica in detail, and you will learn some truly remarkable facts about oneiromancy. I will also explore the impact of the book on history and dream interpretation. So if you found the video interesting, don't forget to like and subscribe, and you'll get the next episode as soon as I publish it.